Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Camper Report. I still have a kind of intro on the way, and obviously, we're 10 minutes late. That was my fault because I had to look for my AirPod case or whatever. But we've got a great guest today, Mark from and by the way, I forgot to ask you this backstage, but what do I call you? Because I grew up in the South in North Carolina, and everyone
Uh,
is Mr. and Mrs. And do I just call you Mark or
Call me sir. No, I'm getting look at the gray hairs, bro. Nah, man, just call me Mark. Call me mate, whatever. Mark's fine, bro. I'm the one YouTuber, and maybe you might be in this same thing too. Though I haven't got like that generic name. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of
yeah.
dudes out there, like Tom Grossi is Grossi.
Yeah.
The
Oh, you
Jed
follow
Grossi.
him. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, Grossi's cool.
I love
Brandon
him. Yeah.
Perna, those kind of dudes, like they got like the names. I haven't got that. It's just like it's still Oz and Marky D, and then But I don't know, man. We are building our brands that is still Steelers, and you're building the 49ers. It's gonna be a really good conversation. But yeah, man, just call us Mark. Mark's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I usually ask my guests that. But anyways, guys, so he's a Steelers fan. We're gonna break down this matchup between the Niners and Steelers. Before we get to that, how did you become a Steelers fan? Kind of promote yourself a little bit. Where can they find you? Most of the links should be in the description. I believe I put them in there. I can double check, but where can they find you? And man, I'm so excited to talk Niners Steelers because this to me at the beginning of when the schedule first came out, I was like, that's probably a win. But now with the Nick Bosa news, it's
I don't
like,
know, dude. Yeah, you guys
I
are in
don't
trouble,
know
man.
about that no
You
more.
guys
So,
are in trouble. I
um,
think there's a lot of off-season drama your way, and there's no off-season drama
yeah,
our way. There's none.
yeah, exactly.
You
So,
know.
so first, I guess promote yourself, and then we'll get into the bulk of the topics.
Yeah, man. So I'm from. I have a brand here on YouTube called Steelers Nation Australia. I've been working on this YouTube channel. As you know, you've been working pretty hard yourself too, and I've found you through Gridiron Blitz, which is Derek. So he says a big shout out to Derek too. He says hello as well. He's a good bloke too. Started this about 2 or 3 years ago. It was on Christmas Day. I was like, I have my Facebook page from 2017. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go make a video. So I started to make a video and shout out to everyone on Christmas Day. Did some podcasting with Behind the Silver Curtain. It was SB Nation at the time for about 2 or 3 years. Made the YouTube, and then ever since then, just started cracking and working away. We've got a really good community here too. Daredevil in the chat right now is a great great bloke that comes in pretty much every time. Loves his Steelers, and always in there for a good laugh and stuff like that. I'm not too serious, to be honest, bro. Like at the end of the day, I'm not an analyst. I just want to see my team win. I want to see someone hit someone. I want to see Najee hit someone. I want to see Holcomb hit someone. I don't really break down too many X's and O's, but I do love football. And how I started to become a fan was based of pretty much those ideas anyway. So you remember the game Madden, right? You played Madden, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now
Not on
Madden
the
used to be
regular, but
good.
yeah.
Madden sucks now. I'm telling you right now, Madden sucks. It is one of the
Okay.
worst games you can ever play. Madden 2023 is just not a good game. I started playing Madden when I was on Madden on Sega on 96, 95, 97, what it was with my brothers. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I started playing it
One
with
of
my
the
bros.
wow, one of the first editions
Yeah, man. I'm
of
like,
Madden.
like I'm pretty old. I'm like 33. I'm getting up there. So I'm getting
The OG version of Madden. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm getting up there. So we played that when we were brothers, and I'm the youngest brother. And then I started seeing like around the 2000s, around the movies with Remember the Titans, the Replacements, Little Giants, all those kind of cool, crazy movies like that with football and Friday Night Lights. And I was like, this game's pretty fun, right? So then I decided in about 2002 that I wanted to have. You got to follow a team. After a while, you got to follow a team. You can't just follow the NFL.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand people how they have two teams or three teams. You have one. You have one team. You follow them.
Right,
That's all
right.
you follow. I don't get that. If you're wearing a Raiders hat and 49er pants, what are you doing? I know they're
Right.
both from the
Right,
Bay. What's
right.
the point? So I was like, well, I got to follow a team, and I chose in 2002. I chose the Steelers based off the colors alone, which I thought was black and yellow at the time, but in reality now, as I do more research, it's black and gold. It goes back to all the way back to the history, since when they founded Pittsburgh. It goes back to their family crest. And yeah, man, I had Tommy Maddox, I had Amos Iraway, I had Dan Carter, all those dudes, and then Maddox got injured. Then Big Ben came in when I really started watching it, And then it wasn't until 2007 when James Debo Harrison ran back that 99-yard touchdown all the way to the end zone. I went, switch. And I went, I love this game. I love this game. And I went, you know what? I'm going to follow him for the rest of my life. And James Debo Harris is my favorite player. So I've been watching them since, probably 2003. And then learning the game every year. Madden helped me. NFL Live and ESPN, when ESPN used to care, when they showed you the game and how to talk. Like, they don't care anymore, bro.
Yeah.
It is like, this guy sucks, that guy sucks. It's like, they used to show you the game and, like, you know, break down plays and stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. They've gone off their rocker. So, for Australians, man, we learnt the game through movies, game series, and when ESPN was good. And the Steelers, I had no idea they even had 4 championships back in the 1970s. No idea. But every year I learned and learned and learned. Yep, no idea.
Yeah. It's been a minute since they've won a Super Bowl, hopefully with this new quarterback. Not obviously, Tomlin will probably be there forever. I do want to quickly ask you before we get into it, because this is kind of interesting. Like, Tomlin's been there for a long time, and I'm just thinking of this now. Do you think that the Steelers, like, is he ever, do the Steelers have to be really, really good in the next few years for him to keep his job? Because it feels like they've been like really mid for like the last 3-4 years, I want to say.
Nah, not really. To be honest, man, there are fans out there that want Mike Tomlin fired, and it makes no sense. He's never had a losing record. He always has the Steelers a chance to win. You know, there's only been 2 times in the Steelers' history of Mike Tomlin that he hasn't played a game where it's not meaningful, that you're not fighting your way to get into the playoffs. 2 times, I think 2 times, right? So his record is 8-9. I don't trust any of that stuff. I'm a Mike Tomlin fan. I love Mike Tomlin. I like the way that he conducts himself. The players love him. It's like everyone likes Mike Tomlin around the league except like 5% or 10% of Steelers fans. That's pretty much it, dude. Like, a lot of guys saying we haven't won one since, you know, Super Bowl 43. We went to the versus Packers. The Packers beat us too. All that kind of stuff. But in reality as well, it's hard to win one. 12 teams have never won one. 4 teams have never been. So don't give me that stuff about, you know, we wasted talent, this and this. It's hard to win one. It's 49ers last year got to the NFC Championship game. They got injured, and the Eagles went there, and then the Eagles lost. It's hard to win a Super Bowl. So, no, the only way if Mike Tomlin leaves is if they finally just go, I'm done, you're done, separate ways. You know, he could have a 3-13 season, they would still keep him. But this is not going to be a 3-13 season. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about the Niner. Well, we'll get to kind of your expectations for the season, but let's delve into, for all of my viewers, let's delve into the Niners versus Steelers game. We're playing you guys on Sunday, 11 a.m., which is my time, Mountain Time. And obviously you have to probably watch them because I live in Colorado. You have to probably watch them. It would be night for you, correct?
No, 3 a.m., dude. 3 a.m.
Oh, wow. Are you going to?
Yeah, dude. I'm up. I'm streaming on my channel. I'm ready to go, bro. I'll be up in Queensland.
Do you work the next day?
Nah, so what I'm doing now on YouTube is I got pretty much like 3 jobs. So I'm doing YouTube part-time. I'm a pickleball coach. That's why I'm wearing the pickleball stuff today.
Okay.
I'm just killing. I'm a pickleball coach, so I coach that. And I also do Uber Eats. So those are my 3 jobs at the moment. I haven't really got a job. I've just got three things I'm chasing that, you know, make me coin and allow me to do more Steelers coverage. So no, I'm up in Queensland. My mate Maddie's getting married, who I do a podcast with, and it's gonna be 3 a.m., dude. It's not fun. It's not fun being a fan in Australia, I tell you.
Yeah, that must suck. Really? I will. Yeah. So, anyways, biggest matchups that will swing the 49ers versus Steelers game. I'm gonna start real quick here. I'm very, very terrified of the TJ Watt versus our whole offensive line. I think that Kyle Shanahan's going to try to come up with a lot of ways to kind of get the offense going without making Brock Purdy drop back, which is how he got injured last year against the Eagles. But I think as long as the Steelers are a very physical team, and they're going to probably try to be very physical. And the 49ers with them, it's like they were very good at stopping the run. So nobody really could run on them that much. Now, the interior defensive line is a big concern. And I don't know, you know, Javon Hargrave, a guy that we picked up in the offseason, and you probably know him very well. He's good, but he's not really that good at stopping the run. So when he's on the field, expect the Steelers to run the ball quite a bit. If you guys can run the ball, control the game, and then that will make the Niners have to drop back more and pass the ball. And that's where I think Brock Purdy gets a little bit exposed. And then obviously your guys' offensive line has been a concern in the past. And if we don't, I mean, we're probably not going to have Nick Bosa. So that takes away a huge force off
I'm
the
telling you,
edge. So
you guys have more problems than us, to be honest. Like you brought
yeah.
up TJ Watt, right? And I will try and take my bias away
So
as
yeah,
much as I can.
what's your take
Yeah.
on this? Because I'm done.
Well,
But yeah, go ahead.
the thing is for me is like the matchup you said there was TJ Watt, right? And you got Highsmith on the
Yeah.
other side. We went and got Nick Herbig as a rotational guy too. Got 3.5 sacks as a rookie. But if you focus on TJ Watt, is Kittle playing? I've heard he's out.
Yeah. Wait, really?
Isn't he? I heard that he's injured. That's what I've heard anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I don't know if he's questionable or not. I haven't looked at the moment, but
I'm just
go
saying
ahead.
if you guys need him to play because you need to put some kind of a stunt on TJ. You can't leave him one-on-one with the tackle or whatnot. He will at the end of the day he will chase you down and get the Brock Purdy. So I just feel like in this kind of matchup there, I know the media is going around the 49ers can win, but this is the first time that the Steelers have played at home in 8 years. 8 years, right? And we are more physical. So it's going to be a tough match, and I want to get your thoughts too in a moment about Brock Purdy. But if this individual matchup with like TJ Watt versus the tackles, that kind of stuff, he's going to try and win those. He's a defensive player of the year, so you got to stop him, right? So that to me is one of the big ones. You brought up to the offensive line. Offensive line 2 years
He's
ago.
questionable, by the way, George Kittle.
Questionable. Okay, true. So
Okay.
he could be. You never know, right? But
Yeah.
offensive line 2 years ago for the Steelers was pretty bad. We had Trey Turner. We had Kendrick Green, Kevin Dotson there. They've both been traded away. So it's like, it's much better. We got Isaac Siamole from the Eagles. Dan Moore has started really good in camp. No one really liked him as a rookie, but every year he's got bigger and better. He's playing much better. I like him. Mason Cole's playing really good. James Daniels from the Bears. You don't hear about him because he does good work too. And Chooks is always there. So the offensive line's really good. But yeah, man, like you said it, physical. We cut our guys, the middle linebackers last year with Devin Bush, Miles Jack, and Robert Spillane. They all cut. The only one guy that was left was Mark Robinson. You still there?
Yeah, I was just quickly
I thought you were
putting eye
disconnected.
drops in my eyes because they're
Sorry, they're disconnected. So we
yeah.
got rid of our middle linebackers. We're more physical. So yeah, I think look, the Steelers will be the underdogs here, but there are a few matchups like that with TJ Watt can get to Brock Purdy and make him throw the pass. It's going to be a tough day for you guys. I'm telling you. Minka in the backfield as well. We signed Peterson. Omar Khan, I don't know if you have been keeping up, but Omar Khan has turned this roster around completely. Like this is something that we should be winning this game. That's why I feel very confident winning this game too. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy one.
I honestly think that the Niners receivers versus the Steelers corners. I don't know if Joey Porter Jr. is starting. Is he? I believe he is.
He won't be starting, but they'll be starting Peterson, Levi Wallace, and kind of working him into. But they've been known as well. Peterson will play some of the slot, stuff like that. They'll move him around. They'll play Shannon Sullivan in the slot. Your receivers are good. Your receivers are really good.
Well,
I love
and that's what I'm saying. I think that's where we could get you because, I mean, the bootleg, the play action, the threat of Christian McCaffrey check down option, and then if Joey Porter does come into this game a little bit, and also Patrick Peterson, I'm not. I mean, that's to me, that's a guy who he's reaching the end of his career. Hold on. My bad.
All good.
My bad. He's reaching the end of his career. Patrick Peterson and last year with the Vikings, he tended to get exposed more when he was playing in man-to-man coverage. They're going to play off-zone coverage, I think, with Patrick Peterson because he's losing his speed, and that's where I think the Niners could absolutely kill them underneath. I don't know. To me, I think you have the threat of the Christian, like I said, check down pass. You have the threat of the Christian McCaffrey check down pass, and Joey Porter Jr., a rookie in his first game. If he has to play any snaps, look for the Niners to go after him because they know he's inexperienced. They know that maybe they could trick him a little bit, and then Patrick Peterson with his speed. So I think the big thing is the Steelers. I think the Niners are going to try to get ways to get their pass catchers open early, and you could see Kyle Shanahan get in his bag
If
really early from the
Yeah, and you,
start.
you guys are
So
coached well. I know what you guys did last year in the 5 game run for the regular season. Brock Purdy
mhm.
played really well, the playoff stuff like that. I understand all that stuff too, but I just think it's going to be really difficult in this game because you're going into Heinz Field, and we still call that, by the way. It is called Acrisure Stadium,
Yeah, but
but you're
it's not
going
late
to
in the field, so it's not that cold yet. So
Yeah, but this is the first. This is the first time in 7 to 8 years that we've had a. This is huge. You like this. The fan base is going to go nuts. The players going to be amped up.
yeah.
So what happens is this is the first time in 7 to 8 years the Steelers have started at home. Like that never
Mhm.
happens.
Mhm.
We normally go away. We win away. In the last 2 years as well, everyone counted out in the Buffalo. They said we won't be able to beat the Buffalo Bills. Right? We beat them.
Mhm.
They said last year we won't be able to beat the Bengals. Minka Fitzpatrick did a blocked field goal. They missed a field goal. We won that game 23-20. Every year recently, they keep saying the Steelers can't do this. And when you say that, you know what they would have been better off doing? If the media hyped us up, the Niners have a better chance, in my opinion. I know I'm biased here too, but honestly, this game is if you put the Steelers underdog at home, Mike Tomlin's got a lot of chance to do this. I do agree with you. Like if we can't stop McCaffrey and they start running full ball, McCaffrey check down passes to Debo, Brandon Ayuk, he's a good player too. In that short passing game and it's rhythm, and your defense comes out and stonewalls Kenny, then sure, you guys are in front by a
Well,
mile.
well, and another thing is like, yeah, Nick Bosa won't be playing, but I expect us. I mean, our this is the biggest thing is like D'Amico Ryan's didn't blitz a whole ton, and I'm really curious to see what our new defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes does he come out with the blitz? I mean, you'd assume he'd had to get pressure on the outside with Kenny Pickett. I expect them to do it earlier, but then it's like we have a big question mark at slot receiver, not slot receiver, slot corner. Um, Isaiah Oliver was supposed to be our slot corner. He's not very good. He hasn't shown much. And then the other guy that we have, I mean, Jimmy Ward was our slot corner last year, and now he's a really good slot corner, but now we don't really have anyone in that position. So if the blitz doesn't work for the 49ers, I mean, Pat Fryermuth might have a lot of chances in the red zone. Your guy George Pickens, if he lines up in the slot,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I think is very dangerous because we have a lot of question marks at that slot cornerback position and look for the Steelers to really, that's what I'm saying. If they can control the run
You,
game in
you,
this game, man, it's going to
you know
be
what?
dangerous.
If these two look, I want to get your thoughts right off this question about Brock Purdy because I'm still not sold on Brock Purdy, but you guys have a
Mhm.
very talented roster on offense. If these two teams can whoever wins 1-0 doesn't matter, right? These two
Mhm.
teams go far. This could be a potential, honestly, because the Steelers fans are thinking Super Bowl. This could be a Kenny Pickett versus Brock Purdy Super Bowl, Steelers versus 49ers. It could happen,
Whoa.
right? Look, I know it sounds
Huh.
crazy, but your rosters, you're 1 game away. The Steelers did so well in the offseason. Like we got about
Yeah.
15, 16 players from Omar Khan. Every move they made for the Steelers, as a Steelers fan, it went, wow, that
I
made
want to
sense.
ask you real quick. What do you think of the tackle that you drafted out of Georgia in the first round? Is he starting
Oh,
this
Broderick
year or
Jones?
no?
No,
Yeah.
he won't be starting. So a lot of guys out there, they will tell you that he's starting at
Okay.
left tackle. So he will be behind in the depth chart behind Dan Moore. And Dan Moore kind of took it on himself through the training camps, the preseason to say, you know what? I respect that he's here, but I'm going to do my own thing and he's going to have the starting job. So I wouldn't be
What did
surprised if Dan Moore
what did
starts the
Jones
whole
look
year.
like?
He's all good. Like from what I saw, man, he's a big fella, 6'6". I
Yeah.
didn't like study too much on like the fundamentals or the technique stuff like that. But he's a big guy. He's still learning though. Like we're not in a position where we have to play him. 2 or 3 years ago, the Steelers had to play Kendrick Green at center for Big Ben's last year. That was a
Mhm.
failure. They had to play Kevin Dotson at left guard. He did okay, then did really bad. Then we traded him away. So they're at the point now. It's like they have their five that is pretty solid, right? They're pretty solid five.
Mhm.
Kenny Pickett into his second year. It's go time now. You probably saw it in the preseason. Everyone around the NFL media, they saw the 5 drives. But in Steelerland, in Pittsburgh, in the worldwide Steeler Nation, we saw this in December. We saw this with
Mhm.
Kenny Pickett to Pickens to the end zone to win the game versus Raiders 13-10 for Franco Harris, who passed away last year, the legend running back, right? we saw it from last year, building all the different building blocks here. So it's going to be a fun game, man. But I think like if whoever wins out of this, and this is why I want to ask you this question too. What are your overall thoughts on Brock Purdy? I'm still not sold, bro. I'm just not sold that the guy can be Mr. Irrelevant, and now they're saying he can take him to the whole way.
My thing is if you give him he actually has underrated arm talent, assuming that he gets it back. He has underrated arm talent because if you get him where he's not like super under pressure, he can't throw off of his back foot, but he can. I mean, there was a few games last year where he did complete long throws downfield. And to me, it's like him compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, Brock Purdy doesn't have like super good arm strength, whatever. Him compared to Jimmy Garoppolo is he has the confidence. He's a great leader. He has the confidence to kind of bounce back from the injury that he had. And we saw that in the preseason game. I mean, he ran a few times where I was like, you don't need to be running right now. You could get yourself injured in the last preseason game that we had, but he was still running. So I still think he has that confidence. He has that confidence he'll make mistakes and he won't go into a shell, which is the problem with what Jimmy Garoppolo used to do. But my thing is the size still is a concern, and he's another one, another guy in a long list of question marks that the Niners have. Because
is he your guy though? Is he your? Because Kenny's our guy.
The thing is I don't know yet, because the thing is like, how is he going to bounce back from this injury? Like, is he not going to take certain throws like he used to? I mean, he has great mobility, and there's stuff about him that's really good. But just like with Kenny Pickett, it's like, but I mean, even Kenny Pickett, we've seen more of, and I think he's a great developing player.
He's getting better every week.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think as far as, and before we leave this topic, because I know the comments are going crazy, I think Kenny Pickett, the Niners always tend to do good against like not as mobile quarterbacks. So we'll see. If we can get to Kenny Pickett, I think the game is over. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
If you can sack Kenny Pickett, which I think will be harder this year than last year because the offensive line's better. Mm-hmm. But if you can put him under pressure, then for sure it's going to be hard. Because what you got to think back to, the Steelers averaged last year 18 points a game, right? Mm-hmm. 18 points a game with Matt Canada. So if you guys can get to him in the backfield, and I don't know if Nick Bosa is playing or not, that to me would even things up quite a bit, because I think this game comes down to which quarterback's going to be pressured the least. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Both teams have so many star-studded players on. We've got George Pickens who can catch everything. You guys got Deebo Samuels, who's so physical. I would love to have, by the way, Deebo Samuels is one of my favorite players too. The way that he runs the football when you get him in the running back situations, and Brandon Ayuk, you guys can move the football. You guys are very physical, strong, down the field. Here we go. Let's go score. But if we can get the Purdy, then the game's a bit uneasy. If you guys get the Pickett, uneasy as well.
Well, I trust Purdy to scramble out, and he doesn't have like great arm strength on the move, but if his mobility is there, it's not like he had a leg injury. If he's on the run all game, then no, but I do expect him to maybe make some plays on the run as well, like he did last year. So I don't know if there's going to be much of a drop, but again, it's his first game back from that arm injury. So yeah, I don't know. The Niners historically have never been good at the beginning of the season. So I don't know it's a huge unknown.
Yeah. How many snaps did he play in the preseason? Is that not a concern for you guys?
Oh, very little. Very little. I think he played like a quarter of the last game.
Right. So I'm just saying, is he going to be, not saying his skill level, is he going to be ready to compete week one? Like, what I'm saying?
I think that is going to be an issue. Yeah. Because I have that question mark as well. Sorry guys for not getting your comments. I'll try to do better, but this is a very interesting discussion. And guys, if you haven't already, go check out where his platforms, link in the description. Mark's platforms, Steelers Nation Australia. Joey Weaver says, just got my streaming setup hooked up, just need a mic, and then it's time to call and talk Steelers. I don't know if he means call in and talk Steelers. I don't have the link out there. Maybe if we have time, we could definitely take a few, but Blue Nose Steelhead says, Holy Dooley Steelers coming for their first win on their way to 13-4, Marky D.
Yeah, man. So Holy
13 and
Dooley.
4.
I've actually got I've got 12, 12 and 5. I've got it's an easier schedule this year from last year. So yeah, it says there Holy Dooley, right? That's like Australian slang for like holy S or holy F. So it's a nice way of
Oh,
saying it. Yeah.
yeah. I need to get educated on some of my Australian slang
It's all good, man.
because my dad, there's some phrases that my dad used to use back in the day that would be kind of considered offensive here in America.
Yeah,
But
probably. There's probably a few.
I could probably tell you backstage, but I'll tell you a few of them.
Oh,
But Daredevil says, hold on, let's get to some of them more important comments since there is a lot here. Cam's interview was good with Gravedigger. If anyone
I missed
didn't
that.
see it, worth the watch. Okay.
Yeah, I missed that. That's Hargraves. Yeah, I missed it. I have to go and look.
Okay. You should be scared. He
Ooh.
shouts that. You should
Ooh.
be scared. Kittle is questionable. I just switched him out on my fantasy team. Yeah, I would too. I don't know what the hype is around Kittle because I never have liked drafting him. He's so unpredictable. Kelsey is most likely out for Thursday. I did see that. I
That's what I
projected
do.
this.
Mm-hmm.
I projected the Chiefs to win in a close one, but I'm kind of leaning Lions a little bit more. I'm definitely leaning Lions. The Vikings also had a pretty bad defense last year. That was in response to me saying about Patrick Peterson. Let's see. 49ers are 5-10. Oh, wow. Without Bosa. Kittle might
That's
not play, have to
huge.
travel across the country. I'll take the Steelers for the win. We'll get to our predictions at the end of the show. I don't think 5-10. You mean 5-12? He probably means 5
I
and
think
12.
I think it means without Bosa playing in. It's like TJ Watt. Our record without. It's like your Bosa is our TJ Watt. So when TJ Watt
Yeah.
doesn't play, we're like terrible. We're like 1-12 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I think what Michael's saying here
Or
is your 5
5-10
wins.
without Bosa.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I read that completely wrong. My bad.
yeah.
I think Freiermuth is going to have a huge game. Me too. That's one thing I'm kind of
He's gotten
scared of.
better.
Although, our coverage linebackers are the best in the league with Greenlaw
Who you
and
got? Is it
Fred
Fred Warner?
Warner.
He's a bloke I've
And
looked at. He's pretty good, isn't he?
yeah, he is
Fred
really
Warner.
good. But if he does get matched up, which could happen a lot, Freiermuth with a nickel corner or one of those corners, I could see them owning us in the red zone. Let's see here. This is the biggest we game in Niners history. Yeah, I agree.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What's that? What's a Wii game? What's
Well,
that?
from what I take it, it's like the Niners, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paulu, and shout out to you for coming in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Niners, a Wii game would be like we if we have everyone full healthy, then we could beat them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Do you think if you guys do lose without your two key players, Bosa and Kittle, that then there'll be like not saying yourself, but excuses from the fans? Would they be like, "Oh, we didn't have that. That's
Yeah,
why you bought it"?
100%, 100%.
I
Not for
find that
me.
crazy though, because a win's a win,
Yeah.
bro. Like it doesn't matter. A win's a win. If whoever you verse, it is
Yeah.
what it is. Like I know it's
Oh,
going to be
yeah,
tough
exactly.
without them, but like I
Well,
understand
and
that.
I think with the Bosa extension, before we get to the next one, I think Bosa, if we lose, the Niners are gonna panic and sign him like the next day.
What is
That's what
going on
I
with
think, at
Bosa,
least.
bro? He's not been. It's like I don't even know what's going on. I'm trying to track that too.
Hey, well,
So,
your man, what's his name? Oh my gosh, TJ Watt made everything a lot more hard when he signed that contract. Him and what's his name? Aaron Donald. Them
yeah,
two
but
made everything
TJ
really
Watt
hard with their
signed it, but then
contract.
he played. I think 2 days after the contract was signed. But I feel like the Bosa situation this doesn't have any happy agreement yet. I don't know. I just what
Yeah,
I
no,
saw.
it doesn't. It doesn't. Apparently, not even in Santa Clara yet. So
Really? Jeez.
yeah.
Oof.
Can't wait for when Landon Roberts sees McCaffrey is
Yeah, they're
staying
both
in
hitters.
for protection and Roberts comes on a dog blitz. Somebody's getting hit hard.
Yeah, he's the bloke. He used
McCa-
to be a Patriot. He can hit pretty hard. He's like our old he's like our new Vince Williams. He's just like bah right down that missile.
Pickett is very mobile. Yeah, but I wouldn't like the Niners. What I'm talking about mobile is like Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. Um, to me, you either have to be like Josh Allen with a cannon of an arm who can fit it between every single window, which I don't think Pickett is yet there, or you have to be a very, very, very mobile quarterback to at least beat the 49ers defense in the past. I don't know about now,
He can
but
run. He can run when he wants to. He's not really, and he rolls out in the pockets too. He's got he's the thing with Pickett is though, and I think a lot of people are down on him, but he's getting better every week. If you go from the very first start from the Jets, every single week he's getting better and being more comfortable in the offense too. So he can roll out, he can run. He's not a run first guy though. He's a figure out where the ball's going to go and then make a decision.
interesting. And we'll get to Pickett next. I've been following the Niners since Montana, and never has a week 1 game seemed so
Ooh, that's
important.
cool. That comes out.
Okay. Okay, so that's what he means by "we game." Gene Smith. Oh snap. Oh snap with Walt.
G'day, Gene.
With
It's one of my
okay.
mates from Steel Oz.
He says, "Hey all, thank you for coming in the chat." Moving on, we were talking about Kenny Pickett. How confident are you as a franchise quarterback, him being your guys' franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future? And before we start this, how long can you go for the stream tonight? Seeing that we're
Whatever,
already 30
man.
minutes through.
Whenever
Okay.
whenever we finish up, I'm good. Good to go.
Okay. Okay. So
Um,
yeah, what's the Kenny Pickett?
Kenny
What are your sights on him?
Kenny Pickett for me, bro, he's one of the most confident, I think, young players I've seen come into the league. Because the thing is about the media and everyone kind of, washed over him, said he can't do this, he got small hands, he can't throw, he can't do whatever, right? But every single game since the Jets game, he's gotten better. Yes, he had 8 TDs, 9 interceptions. They go to the stats, but they don't look about how he won games. He broke a record. I think it was an NFL record that he had back-to-back winning game drives versus the Ravens and the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. That was fantastic to see. And we are happy now as Steelers fans because we have our guy. We didn't know that last year, but now we know Kenny Pickett is Kenny effing Pickett. Mike Tomlin talks about him. Everyone loves him. He's married now. He's just checked in. He went and watched all 182 incompletions last year. He's like overall sight on the game and like his training and like just work ethic is very high. Allen Robinson, our vet receiver, talks about him. Pickens, good relationship there. Deontay Johnson, they're all talking about Pickett to be the guy. So exactly right. Daredevil says he's our guy. Looking forward to seeing that second year leap. So we are keen to see what he can do. Now, if he does regress and throw some picks or whatever, which I don't think he will just yet, but it's all learning curve too, and it's still only his second year. Probably a bit like with you guys and Brock Purdy. It's a similar thing, right? You got the first round pick and the last round pick, right? But for us, I think a lot of Steelers fans now, they've bought into the idea that Kenny is the next guy because he's doing everything right. In preseason, he went 5 for 5, and yes, he versed the Falcons defense that was third stringers, but he also versed the Buffalo Bills defense, and we took care of them. He got 198 yards, perfect passer rating. Every drive they scored, right? From last year, where we were at the Canada, Matt Canada was getting 18 points per game, and then in the preseason, we scored 27. I know it's preseason, but it's still football. We are very high on Kenny Pickett. Like he should come in here, and next year, everything should start to happen. I'll tell you that. Like we are hands down ready to go because he looks really good. And there's
and you guys go ahead.
Oh, there's a few throws. There's one throw I saw in the preseason. It was the last game, I think, versus the Falcons. He threw an absolute dime into Deontay Johnson's hands, like a basket. Went over to the sideline, down. Then he went and found Pickens to the sideline too. So he can throw, and he's just the best thing about Kenny is he's quietly confident and he wants to win. That's what we see.
Well, and to me, I mean, the ending from you guys, you won 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you lost there, but you won like the last 6 out of the 7 games, and you beat the Ravens once, which they were a playoff team. Although I think you beat the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, but even still, I mean, you guys really ended off
We
on a
know
hot streak for sure. So
he never plays us though. Lamar Jackson, that's not even our fault. The Lamar Jackson never
yeah,
plays us. Dude. He never he's played us 3 times in 4 years or 5 years. He never plays. He's always injured. Always
yeah,
injured.
and you guys slowly like got better as the year
100%.
progressed. I see, and then
Yeah.
the biggest concern with me is like, what is the concussion like? He had 2 last year, I believe it was. The concussions,
Yeah.
I don't know. The
I
injury
think there was
problem with him, concussions, I don't know.
there there was one real one, I think, and the other one was more, I think, more precautionary when that was a game when he went out
Yeah.
and the next week the NFL is really about this stuff now, the real safety.
Mhm.
Ever since Tua went down 3 times in a row, I'm not too worried to be honest about the concussion stuff. He's got a new helmet, stuff like that. I think that's one thing that it's just kind of it's unlucky too. It's not just okay. This guy's prone to concussions. We're all prone to concussions. You and I fall over on a step. We
Mhm.
hit ourselves.
Right.
We get concussed, right? I've knocked myself out at a club before. I jumped into something I shouldn't when I was a bit drunk, right? So I've done things like that, being silly, but you can't really control that too much. All you can do is tell him to slide down. But we had him go out, and Trubisky came in, and we lost the game versus the Ravens. So that kind of stuff. It's how do you control that? The NFL is trying to do their
Mhm.
best, but I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff, man. I think overall, we just see that he's checked in. And I think as Steelers fans, we're happy to go from Big Ben to now having our guy. And this whole offseason, they built around Kenny Pickett with the offensive line and the defense and that kind of stuff too. They got Darnell Washington, the tight end. They got left tackle Jones for the future. You might see Dan Moore in the future go over to right tackle. We don't know. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty okay with the injury stuff because to me that's all freak stuff. Joe
Right.
Burrow, Joe Burrow went down. Josh Allen can go down tomorrow. You know what I mean? It does suck. An injury happens, the season's done.
Right. Um, Tommy Huxley. Well, yeah, who's your backup for the Steelers?
We have Trubisky and we have also Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. Yeah, but we're not really. Look, if Kenny goes down, the season's pretty much done. Not gonna look.
Yeah, Mason
It's tough.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
I remember him a few years ago when we played you guys, and I think the Niners and the Steelers had like 9 turnovers combined, and I think the Niners turned it over 6 times and we still
Yeah,
won.
that was
I
the
think it
Minka
was in
game,
2019.
and you guys won.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was I think Mason Rudolph was starting, and he threw like 3 interceptions or something like that. It
Yeah.
was yeah, not great, not great. But Tommy Huxley coming in, shout out to him. Anyone in the chat, Tommy Huxley is just a guy who likes to talk a lot of trash, so don't get offended. He brings a little bit of a spice to the chat. As long as he doesn't make anything too bad, I'll probably not put him in
Yeah,
timeout.
man,
But
gotta keep
um,
gotta keep keep it PG. We're just
I-
fans of the opposite team. We're not having to fight, man. It's like I, I
yeah,
don't I don't even hate the Niners. Like the only teams I hate is like the Bengals. That's the only one I really hate is the Bengals. So, but it's good. It's good, healthy football talk. It's like I always
yeah,
say, it's like we're in a bar. It's like if you were in a bar. If I was in San Fran, I was like, hey mate, what's up? I'll buy you a beer, and we watch the game and go, yes, let's go my team. Let's go your team. But that's what it is,
mhm.
man. That's what it is at the end of the day. We're going to see blokes hit each other as hard as they can. I can't wait.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, me either. Weaknesses that the Steelers have that you feel the Niners could take advantage of, and vice versa. We kind of
Good
already
question.
discussed this in the last topic, but I will say that I want to see the Niners go after that secondary. Like I said, if they can get Brock Purdy open to maybe hit one of those deep balls, George Kittle I think needs to come back because him down the seam is going to be really important. Um, and then I'd say the Niners, if they can't, if they cannot stop the Steelers receivers, because you were mentioning Allen Robinson, he's an underrated receiver. Like he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very
Over
good
the
for the
Rams.
Rams last year, but that's because he didn't really have a good quarterback at all throughout the whole season. So you know, whoever they line up in the slot, the Steelers are going to eat. And then Najee Harris is a really good running back, and we don't have that good run game this year. So it's like whenever the Niners don't control the Niners, how they won last year was by running the football and making sure that they have such an elite defense that they can always be a step ahead of the other team. But if the Steelers open up the run game, then this game is just going to blow up because now they can drop back and they can deliver a 20-yard dart down the middle. They can
Mhm.
control clock. And then the Niners have to get it back and they have to throw just to keep up. And,
That's where we want you guys to
whenever
throw the
the
football.
Niners were put in that type of situation, I saw it with the a little bit with the Seahawks in the first half of that playoff game. I started to see it in that Eagles championship game before Brock Purdy went down. So there was whenever the Niners get in that situation, it's spicy, man. It is not a good place to be in. So
But that's right. Look, if you run McCaffrey and we can't stop McCaffrey because that's been a bit of a point of issue too the last few years with the defensive line can't stop the run, that kind of stuff. But I think we have middle linebackers now this year that want to fight and want to hit. We have Holcomb, Roberts who can run down the box.
mhm.
Keanu Neal can do that too. But if you guys like want to run the ball, and also any football game really, what do they always talk about? You run the ball, good defense. If the Niners do that with McCaffrey who's your backup running back? I don't even know. Who are they?
Oh, we have. Elijah Mitchell. He
Oh,
tends to
he's
get
pretty good,
injured a
right?
lot, but when he did play, he averaged like over 5 yards per carry. And then Jordan Mason. That's my personal favorite. Runs hard. No, the depth at our running back position it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys could look, I think we're going to play a very similar way because you don't want us to get the quarterbacks hurried, hurt, or rushed or whatever. You're
Hmm.
going to get your guys into Purdy's going to be into like some form of snap count. There's no way you want him throwing the football 40 times, and we don't want Kenny throwing it 40 times either, right? It's going to be run game
Hmm.
using Najee and Warren for us, jet sweeps, that kind of stuff. But for the Niners, if we can't stop the run, you get 7, then we get some good defense. That to me is how it's going to break down. So I'd say one of our
Hmm.
weaknesses will probably be the run game if we can't stop that. Another weakness is too actually on our own fault. If the Steelers can't get this momentum from the preseason and turn it into points with this Matt Canada system and the guys buying in and moving down the field like they have been, it's a weakness. If we can't move the
Hmm.
ball down the field, you guys will win because we last year didn't do that at all. Very hard to. I think we're the only team.
The
No, we
Steelers have
scored.
never been a downfield passing team.
Yeah, but we scored like twice. I think 2 times out of the red zone in the whole NFL was twice, something like that, right? Now back in the
Uh-huh.
Big Ben days, sure, you could sling it like in 2016, 2017 when it was on fire. When I was over there watching games in Pittsburgh versus Ravens, he could go to Montavious Bryant, AB, which he went crazy. It was fun and it was explosive to watch. We saw that.
Hmm.
But the last few years, the points have been getting less and less from 2022 to now 18 and they were doing some long drives, but they could never get that big break or 40-yard run or
Hmm.
50-yard
Right.
pass TD. This wasn't happening. So you guys want to keep it with us, I think. Like in a not a shoot. No, I don't think a shootout will happen, but like keep it close, run the ball, and I think if you run the ball effectively with McCaffrey, we can't stop that. Where it's like you're churning away third and 5, you run it again, first down. You know what I mean? Keep going, like bang, 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 mate. I think it's going to come down to who can pressure the quarterback the most, to be honest. They're both guys, second year guys, right? They're both second year guys.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's why, but the experience under pressure, I think Kenny Pickett has him there, and that's where, I don't know, and the thing is, like, we have edge. What's the edge pressure gonna look like? Because we have, what's that guy that we drafted a few years ago in the second round? We have chat. Let me know. But we have a guy that we drafted in the second round. We have trying to think of the other guy we got in free agency, but we don't really have an elite pass rusher that the Steelers will have to pay any attention to. And then we obviously have in the interior Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave, and then Kevin Givens is all right, but yeah, I don't see the Niners being too. I
So
don't
what do
I,
you
I
what do
just
you
don't
guys have
see
to
it.
do on the day? You have to run the football, play action pass, and get Brock Purdy settled, right? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's
And
basically
and no
and
turnovers
and
for you guys.
but well, yeah, the biggest problem is like if the reason why I think the Niners could beat the Steelers is that they never seem to like you said, they never seem to make it into an air raid game.
We don't
See,
haven't blown
I
out a
would be
team in a
more
long time.
I would be more concerned that the Niners, if the Niners were playing a team like the Bills who can just sling the ball over the field, I would be concerned about our
Mm.
edge rushing more. But I don't know. Again, we'll see what happens there. So,
Well, the Steelers
um,
haven't blown out someone in a long time, dude. Not in a very long time.
yeah.
We have had heart attack games the last 2 years in a row where we win by 3 or we lose by 4.
Mhm.
That's it. Since the last game, which was good to watch, was 28-14 versus the Browns last year. That was like, oh, we're cool. We're cool. That was it.
Yeah. Um, Watt isn't coming off of the left. Yeah, that's my biggest concern. Yeah, right tackle is going to be an
TJ Watt's
issue.
healthy now, dude. He's healthy as. He's ready to go. So
Yeah,
it's Highsmith, too. Got 14 and a half sacks last year. He's crazy.
they're going to have to utilize the quick pass.
100% they
I'm
are.
trying.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. So we have it. Who is that guy that we drafted in this? This is going to really bug me because we have an edge rusher that we drafted in the second round, and I really should remember this, but I'm not. So Tommy, if you're out there
Um,
still, maybe I could look this up.
D Winters, is that a guy?
Well, D Winters is a rookie. He's more of a linebacker. Um, let's see here. Niners defensive line.
You guys had no picks, didn't you? Wasn't your draft last year had no picks?
We had
Didn't you
like
have
third round pick. I mean, with Jair Brown, but he's not even going to be starting.
Yeah, didn't you have like wasn't your first pick like 96 or something? Something like
We
that?
traded up though.
Who'd you give your
Yeah, I
picks
think we
away
traded up
to?
to like 80 something. The still from Trey Lance trade, and then we also Christian McCaffrey trade
Oh,
as
so
well.
none at
Okay,
all.
so Cleveland Farrell, he was okay in our preseason game against the Raiders. He actually has Cleveland Farrell's okay, and then we also have Drake Jackson. That's the second year guy that we have. So if Drake Jackson, he's a big unknown as well from our defensive line because he's a guy that should have been starting or should be starting opposite to Nick Bosa whenever he comes back. And he needs to take a big leap this year as well for our defensive line not to miss a step. But if he doesn't, that's a really big concern. I don't expect him to do that good in this game. So we'll see. Where will the Steelers end up in their division, and what are your expectations for them this year? Well, do you want to skip to win score projection for this game and then go to
Yeah, man. Yeah.
that
So
topic? Yeah.
look, I'm mad biased, as you know, but I think honestly, I think we take care of Brock Purdy. I think that the defense gets to it.
You said
I
31-10 on your channel.
Yeah,
How?
man, 31-10.
That's a
I
homer
don't
pick.
think I'm a biased guy. It doesn't bother me. I don't think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that Brock Purdy can score more than 20 points. I just don't see it on the defense. I just don't know. Now, that would shock me if
Okay.
he does. And I'll be like, okay, now if he comes out, slings at 3 TDs, 4 TDs, I'm like, he's your guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even you guys said this is
Mm-hmm.
your we game. Like, we want to find out what's going on in this week one. You guys have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
drama. I think you got to travel a long way to Heinz Field. To me, it just doesn't seem like, I don't think it's going to be like a close, like 17-16. I just feel like the Steelers are going to take care of business and run the ball, great defense, and then Brock Purdy's going to have to throw to get back into the game. And I've got 31-10 with Pickens, Deontay TDs, Najee Harris TD, Warren TD, and a field goal. And you guys getting 10, getting 1 TD. I know it's a big margin, and I understand that, but we haven't blown out someone in a long time. Like, I'm talking like 4 or 5 years since the Panthers. So I'm just saying that this is going to be a very hard game, in my opinion, for Brock Purdy to come in and dissect. Not only having TJ Watt and Highsmith on the outside rushing you all day, but the Minka Fitzpatrick with the he's a future Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, safety. I still like Peterson. I know you're not too high on him, but what we've seen in camp, we like Peterson, and there's a lot here. I just don't
Yeah.
think that Brock Purdy can do that. But if Brock Purdy comes in and he says bang bang bang, top 5 who, we'd be like, far out, dude. What just happened? We got beat by Brock Purdy. We'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, he's the real guy. So I just want to see it. So yeah,
Well, you're
31-10.
forgetting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you're forgetting Kyle Shanahan last year, week 1 against the Bears. There was a beginning of that game where our defense looked dominant. And if it weren't for rain, we would have easily beaten the Bears there. It's just Trey Lance was a new quarterback coming out, and he didn't have all the experience. So that game was a locker. I think the Niners are gonna. My point is, I think the Niners, just like last year, are gonna come out firing. their team is a little bit banged up, but you're saying, George Kittle, he might not be here for this game, but I mean, our rookie Braden Willis, that we drafted, I believe it was from Oklahoma, is a great pass catching receiver, tight end, and then our guy Ross Dwelly is a really good. So like those two guys is a very good tight end as well, just very underused. Those two guys are going to be really, really key down the seam, down the middle for the Niners, and I think I mean, Kyle Shanahan is going to get Brock Purdy going early. The first few drives, I think you could see the Niners exploding. That's usually what they do. The Niners last year were really weird. They'd have a very good first half, and then they'd rely on their second half, like defense, to take them home. I think it's close. I actually think it's a little bit higher scoring for two reasons. I think the Niners will be able to run the ball. We have say what you will about Colton McKivitz, but we have 4 other offensive line that are solid. We have obviously one of the best left tackles there. We have Aaron Banks, who showed a lot last year. We have our center who was really solid. So my point is we have a very solid offensive line, and Colton McKivitz, a lot of people are saying he's going to suck, but we really haven't seen anything from him this season. So he's a huge unknown. The Niners, I think, because it's week 1, a lot of teams tend to kind of catch up to what their offensive scheme is later on in the year, but I just don't think teams that can expose the Niners are teams like the Chiefs, teams that can really they can pass the ball at a very high clip, and they can really expose the Niners deep down field defense, like deep downfield coverage. Because Talanoa Funga as a safety isn't great at covering down the field. He's a really good hard hitter, really good at covering the line of scrimmage. So my point is, I just don't think the Steelers have a high-powered enough offense to keep up with the Niners, who will come out swinging. You can get Brock Purdy opportunities with bootlegs, with max protect, play actions. And I think Colton McKivitz, he's not a great run blocker, but he's been said to be a decent pass blocker. And when he has started, he hasn't looked bad in pass protection. So I think the Niners, I just don't think they're going to be exposed that badly. I think they have safeties that can rush the quarterback. I do think that the pass rush is going to come home because of Talanoa Funga and just D Winters, obviously, as you were talking. I don't know if he's playing in this game, but the blitz will get home. And I just don't think that Kenny Pickett and the way the Steelers are structured, I don't think they're going to be able. The only way you beat the Niners is if you go downfield on them. And I just don't think Kenny Pickett's going to be, the Steelers are going to be able to do that. I don't think so. So without much further ado, I think the Niners are going to go 27-24 here. Very close.
Ooh, close game.
I think we have all of our weapons, or at least most of them. And yes, Kittle is very important to this team, but I think he is replaceable, especially with Christian McCaffrey. And Deebo Samuel looks like a new person this year. So I don't know if that all made sense, but that's a long tangent. I don't know.
I'm just trying to find I just don't know how you get 27 points against this.
I mean,
defense.
hey, they averaged 30 points with Brock Purdy last year, their offense.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, so they were a very high-powered offense last year. And I don't know, I think that it could be shaky early on, but the thing that's always seemed to kill the Niners is the downfield passing. They've been exposed sometimes downfield on defense. And I don't think that's what the Steelers do. So I think, honestly, in that aspect, it's not a good matchup for the Steelers. So
you think you got to win the game with a field goal, you reckon, the last quarter? It's 24-24, or how's it going to end?
I believe that we're going to take an early lead, and we're going to score I want to say 17 in the first half. It's going to be a 17-10 game or something like that. And then the Steelers because our offense tends to always break down. And I don't know what it is, but second half, terrible second half offense. So I think you guys will make a late comeback. And I don't think it's going to be a last second field goal. I think it's going to be the Niners get it. Well, it's 27-24. You guys have been coming back. It's like 27-17. They score a touchdown, and the Niners are barely able to like squeak out a first down and then kneel the ball or something like
Let,
that. I could see
let me
that's
ask
how it
you. Let
plays
me ask
out.
you this question: will your fan base lose it if you guys lose? Will you be like, "Oh, the world's over," or not?
Oh yeah, well, not really, because we'll obviously have that excuse of Nick Bosa, and there will be
Right.
probably times in the game where Kenny Pickett will have time to tear up this Niners defense. But I do trust the Niners to get home to blitz with Cleveland Farrell and Drake Jackson. I think are decent, and then the interior. I don't know. The Steelers don't. From you say they've improved, but they're still not like you wouldn't say they're still a top 10 offensive line yet.
Probably not top 10, but they've gotten better. Like they've gotten much better for what
Yeah.
they've done. And I'm just going off. You know what? I'm not really going off the actual NFL 32. I'm going off what we had the last 2 years. Still fans know what we had the last 2 years in how the offensive line's been building, and it's so much better than it was. So much better,
Yeah.
dude. It's ridiculous how more cohesive they are. Mason Cole's 2 times better than or 3 times better than Green. We traded away Dotson for future picks. Isaac Siamalo, he's checked in, dude. He's ready to go. He's a big thumper from the
Mhm.
Eagles. James Daniels a big guy. Like we have some now depth too at that position, and they really built around Kenny Pickett. So whereas Big Ben's last few years, it wasn't. It was pretty shaky the offensive line. I know with the last 2 years we haven't scored points. So my big thing is can the Steelers take that preseason energy into game week 1 and like show
Mhm.
everyone that they can do this? That's why I've got such a high score because I believe that if it's going to be look, it could be a 13-10 game. It could be a 17-14 game. It really could be because both defenses could be on fire. They could be taken after. But I think that if Kenny and these blokes can start to chip away and just do what they're doing in the preseason and get to your guys too. But that's what it
Mhm.
is, man. At the end of the day, they're getting after your quarterback and you're getting after mine because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to keeping that guy upright and him, throwing the football down the field, like you said. So 27-24, I could see that if you guys are a late field goal, but I still think it's going to be very tough ask for actually any team to come in at this like this is like the new era. We have the new era right now. We're buying into Kenny franchise KP8. He's the new era for the Steelers, and we have a new team that's happening.
Another aspect of this is Kyle Shanahan. He tends to start off slow with his game planning at the beginning of the season. Like I said, but there's been a lot of drama with Trey Lance. If we lose this game, there is a ton of fans on, Twitter that are just going to murder Brock Purdy. If you're Kyle Shanahan, you have that chip, and with Nick Bosa as well, you have to put out a amazing offensive game plan to kind of scheme around that. And I just think that defensively, play calling wise, I think Steve Wilkes is better. He's not as much of a rah-rah guy as D'Amico Ryan's, not as much of a leader, but play calling wise, I do think he is better. And secondly, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to put a lot more of his cards, because usually he likes to wait till later in the season to really ramp up really put all of his cards on the table, really show the glory of his offense. But I think he's going to do it week 1 because he has that whisper in his ear from the Niners fan base: Trey Lance, Trey Lance, Trey Lance, Trey Lance. That was not a very popular move, trading him. And so now Kyle Shanahan has to prove that he can win with Brock Purdy, because the pressure is on this season. The pressure is on to win. If he does not win this season, he's probably fired. So I think he comes out and
You
really
think
gives the
he
fan
might
a
be
good game.
fired? They're going to fire your coach after the season, maybe.
Yeah, if he doesn't at least make
Wow.
NFC Championship game, because you can't justify Brock Purdy has to play really good this year to justify you getting rid of 3 first-round picks the last 3 years. So I just think that because of that chip on his shoulder, it's going to be really important that he comes out firing. Otherwise, he's going to get roasted by literally every single fan. That's just my opinion. But
That's crazy.
so that's why I have them winning in kind of a shootout. But let's get to a little bit of the comments before we move on. Carcast says, "Yo, go shout out to his channel. Go check out his, and if you haven't already, everyone, go check out Mark's channel as well. Steelers Nation Australia. A link in the description. Armstead and Gravedigger is a great combo. Yeah, interior, that should be fun to watch, interior. I don't think we'll have no pass rush, but I just, you know, I don't think it's going to be great. Two bad teams.
It
Wow.
could be sometimes it could be anything. I don't know. It could be
Oh,
in a
yeah,
reference to
yeah.
something else.
Honestly, I haven't been following it that much
That's the
here.
hardest part, man. Is just trying to match the chat with where we were. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Purdy isn't going to have time for 30 against the Steelers with Minka back there too. Yeah, I don't know. I think, is there any weakness in Minka's game? I haven't watched a ton of him.
It's pretty good, dude. He's
Coverage
voted a
and
he can cover, he can hit. He's like a very intelligent guy, very soft spoken. He's all pro for a reason. What else is it? He works out, he studies a lot. He's just a guy, like he's our guy back there. So when he doesn't play, the defense looks different. And for what we have too, we haven't even spoken about Cameron Hayward too on our line, the other vet. We have like Cameron Hayward, the vet on the line. We have some other dudes, Ogunjobi, TJ Watt rushing, and then Minka's like the guy at the back. Do you know what I mean? He's a guy chilling. So look, it's tough. It's tough to go against Minka. Minka makes plays. He can pick the ball off. You saw that one. He actually, you guys would have saw him in 2019. He forced 2 fumbles and interceptions.
That is true. Yeah.
Like he's crazy, dude. That's one of the best picks we've had. Trade. One of the best trades.
I'm trying to figure out any weaknesses that we could exploit with him. But yeah, that's a good point.
Tell him to not just keep him off the field. That's probably the best one. Is tell him to sit on the bench. But that's right too. If you run the ball and the defense are not out there, or you play good defense or whatever, just keep him off the field. Get him off there.
Yeah. Purdy's gonna get smashed. I don't know. I agree that Colton McKivitz is not that good, but ultimately he hasn't played a lot of games, and when he did, he was decent at pass protection. So now TJ Watt, that's not gonna be good when he goes against TJ Watt. But Gene, you never mind, not gonna read that. I like the Niners, but Steelers are winning. That's Gene Smith. And then how about them Niners coming in? If you're still in here, that was 35-24 San Francisco. San Francisco wins turnover battle to give Purdy extra drives and scoring opportunities. Turnover battle. See, this defense might be the reason why I disagree with you. How about them Niners? By the way, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so thank you for hopping in. But the reason why I don't agree with you is Niners have never been a very opportunistic defense, and I don't think they're starting in week 1. Maybe Steve Wilkes changes that, but they've just never been like a very turnover. They've been the type of defense that will hold you to 3 and outs in a row, but will never get an interception. Like if you look at their interception, they were not good in that category as far as turnovers go, like forcing turnovers. So I don't think so. I believe that the Steelers will win the turnover battle, and that's where I'm scared. That's why I'm very iffy to pick the Niners to win, because Brock Purdy, I do think that there is an interception waiting to happen there where he gets hit wrong and he throws a bad pass. So
35-24 is a pretty big score line. Even mine's
yeah.
pretty big, 31-10. So it won't be 30. It's gonna be like still out west says 2017 is probably, and even your score 27-24 is a bit high in my opinion. Something like that, 23-20 is probably gonna happen. It could happen like that.
It's gonna be close defensively.
Yeah, they're both great teams. At the end of the day, they're both great teams. And I think it comes down to the second-year quarterback, who's going to be the better quarterback on the day. It really comes down to that. Who can run the ball, that kind of stuff. Because they both are. Like, we're both good franchises. They're both great teams, We're not, it's not the Browns versus the Cardinals, or it's not the Cardinals this week.
Right.
The Cardinals versus Washington Commanders. Who's going to want to watch that? No one.
The Cardinals are so bad, man.
They're really bad this year. They're playing Josh Dobbs.
They're like, there is no person on that team that I like actually want on my team. They're just that bad. They're literally that bad.
Murray's out. They got they got James Conner, one of our
guys. Maybe that's the one dude.
Did you see there was the interview where the Cardinals coach was going off, and all the Cardinals players are looking at this guy going, "What's he talking about?"
Yeah,
they're not buying
so
it.
Was it about the it was some it was
getting
Hard
on the bus.
Knocks, maybe not Hard Knocks. but it was some like speech that he was giving. I think I saw that on Twitter, and it
Yeah,
was like a team meeting or whatever.
team meeting, and he was like doing his thing, and whoever the new coach is, he was saying about getting on a bus and going and be
Jonathan
killers.
Gannon.
Yeah, and then they pan to the stadium, or no, so the crowd, and everyone's like just in shock.
Yeah, Jonathan Gannon, no Eagles fan liked him. The fact that he got hired as a head coach is amazing
Yeah,
to me.
looking for
And
effing
the,
killers.
the Eagles had an historically good defensive line last year, and they were still able giving up like 30 points to the Chiefs. They were still not like they weren't like super elite, even though they had elite talent last year on that defensive line and secondary. So, um, let's see. I'll be in your chat getting my receipts.
Hope
Yes.
so. See you next week.
Um, yeah. Purdy's football IQ, timing, and escapability are a perfect fit for a yak-based offense. See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Debo Samuel, it's going to be hard. Like,
Well, he's
this
talented,
should
man.
be an
He's
exciting.
got great.
Yeah. Steelers out west, 2017 Steelers low scoring game for both teams. Daredevil says that
Yeah,
was a horrible speech. LOL. Looking for fucking
yeah.
killers. Yeah.
Did you see it? It was really bad. So the
Yeah.
Cardinals
Well,
they're looking to get the number one
didn't
draft.
didn't didn't he say like? Wasn't it like? If you're I'm looking for he was like, "I'm looking
Yeah,
for killers if you're
yeah,
not
it's
on that
bad.
bus with that mentality." Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I
So
saw it on Twitter, a clip of it. I don't exactly know what he said, but where will so moving on kind of to your expectations for the season, kind of this is the last topic of the day, kind of off of the Niners Steelers matchup. Where will the Steelers end up in their division, and what are your expectations for them this year? Um, I'm very curious to see this because I have them ranked pretty highly in their division.
yeah, so it's like all the off season we've done a lot of moves. Like I've said, we brought in. Let's let me name some names. Just go to the chart. So Steelers brought in, of course, Allen Robertson. They got Isaac Siamala, the left guard. They got Broderick Jones, Darnell Washington on the tight end. They short up the depth at quarterback if they do have to go there, but they won't. Joe
Mhm.
Moore and McFarland, they're good players. Connor Hayward, fullback, tight end, halfback. They got guys in Holcomb, Atlanta Roberts, Peterson, Shannon Sullivan, all these dudes, right? So they got dudes that coming in, and I'm not naming all of them too, but to me, it's this season is built around Kenny. It's the new era. Like we weren't as physical last year that we should have been in the middle linebacker position. And I'm telling you, man, I think they can win. I think I said the other day on one of my shows it was 13-4, but I think they can win about 12-5. That's this whole idea about talking about ceilings. I can't stand. I don't know if you had this stuff in your media too.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a ceiling? What's a floor? Who cares, bro? The floor is 0 and the ceiling is 17. There's no in between. It's like you're going this far or that far. To me, I think the Steelers can win the division. The only problem I think is the Bengals are still in the way.
Mhm.
But I think if we go 4-2 in the division, we have a chance because our schedule is easier than this year, and they're all football teams. But I think we can win 12 and
Mhm.
5, 11 and 6, something like that. So to me, it's wild card. We are as Steeler fans, we are expecting playoffs, and if they win the division, it's a bonus for us.
Well, and I'm looking back at the schedule here, and yeah, well, and again, you guys don't have to play the AFC West. You have a
Nope.
very hard division. I will say, I think the Browns are like really, really underrated. I
Yeah, it's a
honestly
good team.
like. I'm gonna do my AFC playoff predictions. I think tomorrow, and I might start considering having all four AFC teams, AFC North teams in the playoffs because it's just that good of a division. But needless to say, the talent, you're absolutely right that you guys picked up is really encouraging, especially offensively. And like you said, I mean, with Kenny Pickett, you guys basically gave him a team where it's really going to be hard to fail in this year, as
Pretty
well
much.
as I think that I just the schedule that you guys have, looking at it, you play the AFC South. I mean, I
Yeah, I
think you
think so.
guys can
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
3 and yeah, you go 3-4 in that division, or in that division, and then you play the NFC West, which isn't that, I mean, you
Rams.
could go 2-2, 3-4 even in that division as well. And so and it's not even like you have that hard road schedule. And a lot of times you'll see like teams that are okay the year before, like the Eagles. There's the 49ers when they made it to the Super Bowl. Injuries don't happen. If injuries don't
Mm.
happen, and usually teams with, I mean, the Eagles had an easy schedule last year. If you have an easy schedule, your team is not injury prone, everything falls right. The Steelers could end up in the Super Bowl because they have the talent. They need a few things to happen. They need the Kenny Pickett to live up to the hype, which I think he will. He has the experience, whatever. And a lot of times teams who make the Super Bowl, or at least one team that makes the Super Bowl, unless you're the Chiefs, it's never the big powerhouses like Bills or Bengals. Or especially it's the team that usually it's a breakout team. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been teams in the NFC the last, like the Eagles were good last year, but they had never been farther than the first
Yeah,
round in
that
the
was real
playoffs
good.
for the last few years. The Niners in 2019, you had the Bengals in 2021. They were good, but there was question marks with the offensive line, and they had never really been that far either. So there's a lot of years that you see teams representing either conference in the Super Bowl that are kind of like they're up and comers. And the other aspect with the Steelers is like they have they have that hunger, they have that
Mhm.
spark, they have the youth, they have
Yep.
the just I don't know. As the season goes on, you're going to be battle tested. I think they could go 10-7, 11-6, go to the playoffs. And right now, I'd take them over the Dolphins. I'd take them over the Browns. I
100%.
think third in their division, but I do think they're going to be like sixth or seventh in the AFC and maybe having a chance at the playoffs. So,
It's
I
a
mean,
new team, man.
yeah.
It's a new team. Like we've seen this change the last 3 years, and as Steelers fans, we've been watching it. Same with your team, right? It's a new team, new era
Mhm.
of Kenny Pickett and all the new guys, and defense looks so much better, health wise, contract wise, all these guys. We just want what we want to see now is them just to actually go out and do it. Like we want to
Mhm.
see all the talk on the offseason that has been happening. We just want to see the team go out and win and be victorious and win those 11 games, 12 games because Omar Khan, our general manager, has put everything together, right? He's been with the organization like 20 years, but now it's his turn where he's in the actual seat. He's confident. Mike Tomlin's confident. Mike Tomlin always has his players ready to win. That is 9, 10 games or 11. Always done that. We've never come last in the division ever. Sorry, not ever. And since the AFC North had started.
Yeah.
Someone can let me know in the chat if they have came last in the division, maybe once or twice in the 1970s. They're always in that steel mentality way, bro. It's always a thing, and it has been scratchy the last few years, the Big Ben transition, that kind of stuff. But now it's like this team can win some games, and you're right. The AFC North is pretty hard. The Browns, we don't like them, but they can show up and
But that's
play.
the
If they
only powerhouse really that they play are Bengals, Ravens, and Jags. Like that's only
Yes, there's
yeah,
no one else, dude. They're not playing the Eagles, Chiefs, Bills. We had that last year. And now because you came second, right, in your division, second or first
first.
last
We
year.
won it. Yeah.
So you're going to
We
play
won
all the
it.
hard teams. You're playing the Chiefs. You're playing those guys, right? Because we
We're
came
not playing the Chiefs, but we're playing the Eagles, the Cowboys. We have a hard
right,
division. We're playing the NFC
right.
East this year. So yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are playing because you came higher. This last year we came third, so we'll get the easier teams on that kind of level,
Mhm.
right? The Falcons stuff like that. Rams, I think they're done, bro. I don't know what happened with their team. Their team's a shell. Like they are like
Their
they still have
defense has so many holes. It's like Swiss cheese. They have like two
like
good
you guys
people
should
on.
beat them. We should beat them.
Yeah.
I don't trust the Raiders out that way. We verse the Titans. I just feel like they're a medium team, right? So we have we have an easier schedule. I think the Steelers play some football, and then if they show up, they can win these games.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas last year with Kenny Pickett, he had to come out and play the Bills, the Eagles, and there was another high team up there too that we versed, and we got stumped. The Bills killed us like 38 something. They absolutely tore us apart, right? And Kenny Pickett was
Mhm.
still learning along the way. Now Kenny Pickett's had a full off season. He's played all the preseason games. He's ready to go. That's why I think we're going to be successful this year, and I think everything is lining up to be that. And we are seeing playoff games and wins. Yes, we haven't won one in 7 years, but I still think it's just around the corner to win one.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, I agree, and don't underestimate a young and hungry team with a young quarterback and an easy schedule.
100%.
That's what yeah, so, um, let's see here. Gene Smith, 11 wins, James Conner, Blue nose steelhead. James Conner is really missing
He was our
Coach
running
G
back.
now, I bet. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It was good. It was good for us too. He was good for the Arizona Cardinals last year. I think it was really
The
high in
injuries,
fantasy.
though, were
Yeah,
ultimately what made you guys get rid of him, correct?
I think so. Yeah, just didn't really fit near the end, and also we kind of got to figure that out with Najee coming up in 2 years. Do they pay him? I actually think all the teams got to figure out the
Do
running
you
back
think they
situation.
should pay him? Because I don't think like Najee the
It
last few years
depends.
hasn't. I don't
Nah, he'll be
know.
fine, man. This is the whole narrative. The media saying that he's not good, blah blah blah. If you go watch him game by game, he's the guy that runs into it and he's getting guys hanging off him. He's getting the 4 yards, 5 yards.
Mhm.
Yes, he's not the big guy to go and get you a 50-yard run all the time, but he makes the big plays he can catch. He once they figure out, I don't know if they're going to sign into a new contract because the running back situation now, it's like, what do? You know, even they're talking about saying, well, do I play here? Do I? It's very hard because the Steelers or everyone around the league they use the running backs for the first 4 or 5 years and they go, okay,
Mhm.
bye, see ya, get a new one. You know, whoa, just off.
My bad.
Was that a
I don't know
ghost?
how
What was
that
that?
happened. Yeah, well, I think chair was rubbing up against the frame or something.
I was
I don't
talking
know
about
what it
Najee
is.
Harris and it got crazy. So no, I mean
Yeah,
he'll be
my bad, my
fine.
bad. Yeah,
He'll be fine.
I
I mean,
was
I
listening.
think yeah, he'll be fine. I think we have the 1-2 punch in Warren. We just got to get back to
Yeah.
running the football last year was 98 yards per game, and then near the end it got to about 146. So they definitely
Okay.
picked it up. Mm.
Let's see here. Holcomb, Roberts, Alexander. I believe he's referring to 8 minutes ago would have been their secondary, correct?
That's a
Oh,
middle linebacker. So Holcomb is
middle linebacker.
from the Commanders. Roberts is from I think he was a Patriot and he won 2 Super Bowls, veteran. And
Hmm.
Quan Alexander was a guy from the Bucks and
Okay,
Jets. Yeah, so
interesting.
those guys can hit.
Uh, Joey E. Oh yeah, Jets is another, but you guys don't play them either. So like,
Nah, I actually I don't care if people say that I'm wrong. I think, dude, they're overrated.
really?
I think
Hmm.
you guys can beat. Actually, both our teams can beat the Jets. I just don't trust Aaron Rodgers, man. I think he's old and slow. I'm done with him. He's 49 years old. He's done. I'm just over him. I don't know. I actually, you know what? I actually don't
Yeah.
like him either. The way he talks to his team, he yells at his
Mhm.
team. He throws them on
Yeah.
the bus. He's. I know Big Ben had an ego too. I know that for sure, right? And if Big Ben wasn't on my team, I probably maybe wouldn't have liked him. But Rodgers is the same. They're just
The
divas,
Niners
bro.
always seem to like absolutely destroy him
Just
for
if
sure.
you are
So
you versing him this year, I hope you smash him. I really hope you
I don't
smash him.
I don't think we play the Jets, no.
He's
But maybe in
why
the
the
Super
Jets in
Bowl.
the AFC. That's well, they moved over and they made Aaron Rodgers the goat of all time to go and win Super Bowl. You've written the Jets. The Jets are going to go to the Super Bowl this year because of Aaron Rodgers because he's 39 years old. I don't buy it.
Nah, the coach there, I mean, I like Robert Saleh, but
He's cool, but his record's really bad. 11 and
yeah,
35 or something, or 12 and something like that.
can't wait to watch the Steelers beat all those nameless gray faces on Sunday. On Sunday. Okay, man.
Mm.
Will be that new playoff team this season. Yeah, I could see it for sure. Rodgers and Jets overrated. Sala will have that D ball and D ball. Oh, D ball. Yeah, defense balling. Yeah, yeah, it will be a good defense for sure. Best teams in the well, and one thing I will say about the Jets is what happened to Russell Wilson that year? You know, the Russell Wilson had a terrible offensive line, and that really was a huge part of why the Broncos weren't good. And now this year, I mean, the Jets have an okay offensive line, but if Mekhi Becton goes, they don't have depth. And if Mekhi Becton goes down, which he always does, you know, what do they have at left tackle? I have no idea. So they have a lot of flashy skill position players, but what's the offensive line going to look like is that at the end of the day is what it comes down to. So let's see. No joke. Gene Smith is knocking. Joey E says gonna be exciting to watch all you guys
Yeah,
in the AFC
crazy man.
North. Yeah. Grandizer, Mark, which Steelers rookie has got your attention in a good way? Grandizer, shout out to him.
Oh, Benton, Keanu Benton. He's one to look out for.
Okay.
So he like plays like D tackle, whatever, you know, inside like next. He'll
Did
play
he come from UCF? No, UCF.
Sugar.
Wait.
Dude, I don't know. I have no idea where he
Well,
came from. I can't remember.
because which round
Let
did
me
you guys
see.
draft him? Because
Third, third, I think.
third round,
Um,
Keanu Benton.
Wisconsin,
I've heard.
Wisconsin. That's right. Yeah, he's
Okay,
Wisconsin.
okay. Yeah, because I had heard of him, and that's actually a really good steal because I had looked into him a little bit. He can play a lot of positions along the line, correct? Isn't he kind
Yeah,
of like a
he's
versatile player?
third. I think he's third round guy. And they can let me know in the chat too. But he's one we've been watching in training camp preseason. Man, he's a pretty big dude. Big dude can like they call him the dancing bear. That's one of the ones I
Hmm.
think Cameron Hayden called him that dancing bear. He's got like a wrestling background too, so we really know he's very
Hmm.
physical man. So he's one I'm looking forward this year to have a really big a big I guess spot in our Steelers, like a good role.
If my earbuds do end up dying because it says they're 10%, I might have to quickly switch over to my headphones, but that
All
won't
good.
take long. So, let's see. Can you please ask Mark if he has seen the Berunger? Very frightful. Yes, mate. He lives in Canada. Grandizer
What the
says
hell is that? What's a barunja?
Berunger. I have no clue.
What is that, like an Australian? Is that an Australian thing? Like what is that, dude?
Mark, your prediction stats for Kenny Pickett, how many passing yards, TDs, etc., etc. I don't know. We already went over this, so we don't have to
That's a
cover that.
that's a dinosaur. A barunja.
Oh,
What the? I've
what
never
the?
in my life, dude. There's no dinosaurs here, man. Or there might have been in the back in the day.
Yeah. Gene Smith, 49th pick is what Keanu Benton went. It's very Australian, he says.
I've never heard that in my life. Barunja.
Well, I mean, Grandizer, you're in Canada, correct? I mean, you'd think Mark would know because he actually lives in Australia. So,
It's how am I meant to know that? It's a dinosaur cryptide. Yes, I know that. I was studying that yesterday.
okay.
That's crazy. It's an Australian
Yeah.
outback. Oh, it's of maybe like a mythical tale of the Aboriginal people that we had. Maybe you know what I mean, back in the day, something like
Yeah.
that. Okay. I
Okay,
don't
so
know that.
so Blue Nose actually comes up with a really good point. Benton and Herbig, both Wisconsin boys,
Yeah,
like what?
dude. Yeah.
That's the guy I was looking into. Herbig. Herbig was like
Herbig's
the
been
linebacker
insane.
slash defensive end who is really good as well that I was looking into. But yeah, Benton, I didn't realize that they had another defensive lineman coming out. So yeah,
Herbig was insane this preseason, man. He got 3.5 sacks, some tackles for a loss. He was off the edge so quick, man.
for
He was like
who?
for us, for Herbig, Nick Herbig for is outside linebacker for us. So he's the one
Oh, wait, so you got him too? Because oh
yeah,
man,
man.
that's nice.
Our
Yes. Okay,
draft is
I like
crazy. Our draft was we got Jones,
because
Joe
I
Porter
wanted the
Jr.
Niners
cornerback.
to get him.
He is
I wanted,
fantastic. You guys should have got him. Like he is fantastic. Because
yeah,
Nate
because he
Herbig
can.
is
Oh
the
wow.
guard, and he that's his brother. And in the preseason, he got 3.5 sacks. I think a forced fumble, tackles for loss.
Mhm.
He's so quick off that line. It's not even funny. He's like a mini TJ Watt. He's 22 years old as well. He's a young
Hmm.
bloke.
Yeah,
He's good.
I had looked a little bit into him at Wisconsin. My biggest thing was like just the tenacity. I think that's the
He's
word,
checked
and
in,
just
dude. He is
like
so checked in.
the power, the length. And the greatest thing about this draft was the defensive ends. I've said this a million times, but the defensive ends from the first round to the second round, there wasn't much drop off. It was just such a deep draft that technique wise, it really wasn't that much of a drop off. It's just the production. Like I truly believe that the guy that went number 3 overall to the Texans, the guy from Alabama, he it the reason why he went that high is because of his production, because he played at a massive school that had a lot of talent. But I mean, there was a guy that went from Auburn to Seattle, and I mean, his technique, the defensive end that went to Seattle in the second round, his technique was almost better than the than Smith, I think it is, third overall pick that went to the Texans. Like what I'm saying is the technique wise, from what I've watched on film, wasn't much different from the first round to the second round of defensive ends, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, Herbig was a steal, man, at the fourth round pick, I think. And we got Herbig, Benton, all
mhm,
these dudes, man. Steal, absolute steal. And he
yeah.
doesn't even need to play. He'll play like maybe 10 snaps a game, maybe 15.
Real quick, Grandizer, if you want to go watch that segment, we did have one with Kenny Pickett. So kind of his expectations for him this year. But I have to get out of here. It's been a great show. Have
It's been
almost gone an
fantastic.
hour and a half. Man, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for kind of getting us a little bit more tuned on Steelers football because I'll watch national news, but there's not enough really hours in the day. I'll obviously tune into
Nope.
your show more now to kind of get more educated on the Steelers, but I don't really follow like every team like that. I'll follow national news and what's happening nationally, but it's mainly Niners and just kind of big time news. But yeah, Steelers are
But
such a sleeper team. And you've definitely sold me on them being a playoff team this year. So
I'll tell you something though, man. That's what the point is though, right? Like you're a
mhm.
49ers fan. You know your team. Okay. You know
Yeah.
your team back to front. I don't know half the guys on your team. I know
Mhm.
Debo Samuels. I know these guys, Brent Ayuk. All right. I don't know your team. So
Mhm.
when you start to watch your team every single day, you understand what they're doing, how they're doing, or why they're doing, and that kind of stuff. The
Mhm.
national media doesn't do that. The national media is just talking points, talking heads. Like,
Mhm.
will Kenny Pickett be a step here? They haven't been watching every single throw or training camps or
Mhm.
reading the articles about him or listening every day. The guys you had in your chat today, the Gene Smith, the Blue Nose, Devil, those
Mhm.
guys came to the chat today from passionate Steelers fans and like your guys to the 49ers fans. We watch our teams because we love our team, right? At the end of the day, whoever wins, wins, right? We keep going forward, we move
Mhm.
forward. But we have, I'll be honest, man, you and I and the guys in the chat have a more understanding of the players, the team, what we do than national media. I don't watch national media anymore. I simply don't do it. I don't do it, right?
Yeah,
You have
me
told
yeah.
me, told me that you guys believe in somewhat a bit about Brock Purdy, but you want to see what he can do. And you've told me that you guys can go to the field and do that. And if I see it, I'm sweet. But from a fan perspective, we watch our team singly on what we do all the time. And yes, we're biased, but we know how things happen, right? With your drafted guys and all that kind of stuff. The media doesn't do that. That's why now the media is only catching up to the Steelers. But we saw this last year. We saw how good they were. And with a great draft off season, the spot they're in now, the Steelers can be good. I'm sick of someone saying the Steelers are not this year, but it's a sleeper team, right? Because we have
Mhm.
been seeing this for 12 months. We've been seeing it, right? And the media is only catching up now, right? I guess one of
Mhm.
your big questions is you're probably sick of hearing about the Nick Bosa stuff. He's probably going to sign tomorrow and play,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I would assume so. Yeah, that's true,
Right?
that's true.
So yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's been good. But keep doing your stuff, bro. Keep hammering away. Keep keep chipping away and getting to the 1,000 and stuff like that. Building your brand. That is the Canberra Report. You do a fantastic job interviewing and breaking down stuff like that. Just keep talking with passion, bro, and you'll kill this. Like I love
Yeah.
this stuff. I love talking this stuff, and I don't talk X and O's. I just like I said, my channel is 90% Steelers and 10% I hate the Bengals. That's what it is. True. I just
Hey,
can't
do you
stand the
have that in
Bengals.
your bio? Do you have that in your bio? That's a
No, I
great
don't, but I should
catchline.
because well, and also you
Yeah.
guys beat them, right? You guys beat them twice in the for the Super Bowls, right? I think.
Yeah, it was no,
I
well, did we beat him? Yeah, I feel like
think you beat them
wait,
twice. You
because we
did.
went back to yeah, we
Yeah,
did. We did.
yeah. This is your so
Because
you've
we
got
beat
them
our
twice, and
first
the
ever
Rams got them
Super
once.
Bowl.
It's great. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 times, right? And they've never won in 58 years. Never done anything. They took Joe Burrow to this guy. They've done nothing. At least you guys have 5 Super Bowls, right? 5 out of 7, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
We have 6 out of 8. Our franchises are successful, so we're chilling. We're
Mhm.
fine. We're good. We can go. We can go back and watch
The
together. We could watch 11 games of Super Bowls for victories. Right? The Bengals fans can't do that. They can't watch. Like,
the Andy
who's going to
Dol
go watch you losing?
the
Ugh.
Andy Dalton days, I remember sitting, I think it was in like 2013, and it was when Vontez Burfict was it knocked out Antonio Brown, or maybe it was some game, and it was in the
Uh,
playoffs. It was Steelers versus Bengals, and it was
20,
Ben
20
Roethlisberger versus
yeah,
Andy Dalton. Vontez Burfict, like there was a huge fight, but like Vontez Burfict, I remember knocked out some dude or whatever. And he should have been suspended, but wasn't, I
20,
don't think.
2016, I think it was. Let me know
Yeah.
in the chat, guys. I think 2016, he knocked out Brown. Never been the same. And then Joey Porter came on the field. He got involved, and they threw 2 flags. Next week, we kick a field goal and
Yeah.
win. They should have won that game. They they
Mhm,
they
mhm.
they fumbled the football. Ryan Chesney got the football back. Then we went down the field in 2 plays and got a field goal and won the game 18-16. I can't
It's
stand the Bengals,
been
bro. Can't stand them.
yeah, you guys have had a rich history. It's like me and the Seahawks, man. I freaking
I bet.
hate
Yeah,
that team
I bet
so
you guys
much.
can't stand them. I bet you they're really smuggy
Mhm,
too. I bet you the Seahawks are really smuggy as well. You know, and now you don't have
mhm,
to worry about the Rams. You don't have to worry about the Cardinals. You got to worry about the Seahawks. We got to worry about the
mhm.
Bengals. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Real quick before we get out of here, Bebop
Warren.
Jones. Go. Thanks
Watch
for
out for
coming in. He's a regular. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, watch out for Jalen Warren, undrafted guy last year. He'll play a lot of snaps. Najee will get 60%, 55%. He'll get the other 35, 30%. I've actually got Warren going 1,000 yards this year. I think they're going to be two running backs getting 1,000 yards, Najee and Warren getting 1,000 yards. I've got both of them. Look out.
Wait, you guys. Oh, you got Kuntz.
Yeah, Kunz.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Also,
That.
I'd be wary too. I realized when I start saying his name, Christian Kunz, you lose monetization. You don't get fined or anything. It actually, the YouTube doesn't like it because the
Well,
name's
yeah,
bad,
because it
right?
is a bad word. But wait, maybe that's why that because I did say it one time and I was like, why am I not getting stream hours from this? Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh
it's what
crap!
I've
I shouldn't
realized
have
is
said that.
when I've been saying number 46's name recently, I realized on my lives it's been getting
That's probably
uh
why I get. Does it tell
yeah.
you that it's demonetized
Nah,
in YouTube
nah.
Studio?
When you start getting stuff going on and you start earning the coin and stuff, you will they don't tell you
I
anything.
never I
Yeah.
never knew that because I was wondering because I had a really big stream one time. I was like, this has to get me watch hours. Like, not that I look at it a lot, but I was like, this has to, and then it wasn't adding any watch hours to my monthly thing or
It
whatever. And I
depends,
was
man.
like,
It depends
yeah,
because it shouldn't affect that too much. But to be honest, I think I've been saying his name a fair bit, and I've been getting a
yeah.
red arrow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, YouTube's
Well,
funny, man. You got to be political correct on YouTube. You have to be.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of him coming out of the draft. I wanted the Niners to get him and how late he went. I don't know why we didn't pick him up. He was a lengthy, physical, underrated tight end, great receiving tight end. So I'm not sure why we
Oh no,
didn't
we
get
have
him.
no.
But
He's
yeah,
not
I
a tight
love.
end. No. We have Christian 46. He's our long snapper.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the other guy
okay.
for the
So,
Jets. Yeah, he's for the Jets, man.
oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
because I was looking at the Jets roster the other day, and they have like
He got
they have
cut.
Conklin and they have him, and I was like, wait, he's for the Steelers? I'm
Yeah,
confused.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Okay, I get you
I
there.
haven't got my jersey, bro. I've got because we say that name when you bring it if you bring it up, but that's like slang in Australia. It's what we say, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the thing, right? And that's why I bought his jersey. My goal is to get him on the podcast. So he's our long snapper. So he used to
Mhm.
play linebacker for the Renegades. He played, I think, linebacker maybe for the NFL, but didn't do too much. He's a long snapper. So Christian Kunz is how you pronounce his name, is in German, and that's him. So we have a running joke over there. He's a good bloke though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Everyone, this has been a great show. Clap it up for Mark, Steelers Nation, Australia. I'm gonna show my dad this episode afterwards because he is Australian, like I was telling you backstage. Go check out him on Twitter and YouTube. Mark, link in the description. So go give him a sub. Go watch his stuff if you want to get more educated on the Steelers and just everything in general. So, guys, it's been a great show. Have a good rest of your night. I'll be probably be dropping a video projecting the AFC playoff picture tomorrow, and then I might be back on Sunday for a post game show. It's a busier time for me, obviously, with school starting. So we'll see when's the next time I go live. But this has been great. Have a good rest of your night, everyone, and go Niners. And I guess in this case, you can probably say go Steelers, although I will not. Go ahead.
It's your show, bro. Look, man. I just
Go
want to say,
Steelers.
I want to wish you luck, man, on your stuff.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, I want to wish you luck. But let's hope for a good game. And I guess go Steelers.
See you guys.